there's one option to flip. Next one down is mirroring. Oh, I think they both need to be off. Okay, here we go. Video mirroring is off. Hello. I'm working on the, okay. Let's see. Let's try a video. Let's try a pic and see. This will be cool if this is right. Let me find one that's got some words. Holy cow. Let me see if I can find one. Look! Okay, here is the ultimate one. Look! Paranormal Files Live. And Paranormal Files Live. X, you're a genius. Look at that. Yay. Oh my gosh. We have been looking for this option forever. And we have it now. Awesome. Okay. Woohoo! All right. We had to get that done. That was something that was absolutely necessary. I feel like we've got everything all lined up now. Okay, now I'm gonna go back into story mode, so. Welcome in, Night Dwellers. I do ask that everyone go ahead and please repost, share, tap the screen, share to your FYF, share to your story, and I'm going to begin reading. If you feel uneasy right now, that's normal. If something feels familiar to you, that's worse. Stay with me. Watch closely. Because some files remember who opened them. This isn't alive. It's a doorway. Let's open. Case number 11. Night 2 of the Bridgewater Triangle. And welcome. If you listen closely, you can hear it. The forest at dusk, the Massachusetts woods, birds settling for the night. Peaceful, very peaceful. And then you hear it. Footsteps. Crunching leaves, and a woman's voice. Her name is Sarah Carter. It is September 2003. She's a jogger. She's breathing heavily from running. This is her story. My boyfriend always told me not to go running alone. He said that I needed to take a man with me. I believe in female empowerment. I don't need a man when I run. On this particular night, I looked at him and I laughed. I said, I had been doing this every night before I met you, and I will continue doing it with you. This trail that I run, it's a 6-mile running trail through the Freetown State Forest. It's absolutely beautiful. It's soft and the path is great. I know every tree, every turn. But on that particular night, something was different. Something was just off. One thing that I noticed is you can normally hear owls hooting, birds singing. You can hear life. You can hear the forest life. But on this particular night, it was quiet. One thing that was really odd is I had bought these earbuds and they normally function great, but as soon as I walked in the woods and was looking down at my tennis shoes, they just stopped. They stopped working. And I was like, what the heck? I just paid $90 for these things. I was upset. So maybe that was why I was hearing everything. It just seemed though that like everything was very quiet. Sarah continued walking through the woods, getting her heart rate up. It was almost time to run. Her footsteps were slow. She could not get over the fact that it was so silent. And then she heard it. Sarah's story. So I started out at a jog. I always start out at a jog just to get my heart rate up. And I could have swore that I saw the bushes ahead of me moving. And I thought, this is like the craziest night. And then I picked up my speed and I could hear footsteps behind me. And I was like, what in the world is going on? I felt like someone was playing tricks with me. Sarah called out, "Hello? Is someone there?" Sarah's story. I was starting to panic. I had heard things, about the Bridgewater Triangle and how, there's things there that are paranormal and there's all these different experiences. I don't believe in that stuff. Or at least I didn't. I do now. So I slowed down. I could feel my heart rate going down, and I started to hear kids crying, laughing, just slight giggling. But it was wrong because it was like multiple voices, and they were coming from the trees, and it was coming from above me and beside me. Sarah hollered out to her unseen visitors. I screamed out and I said, "That's not funny. Show yourselves. You shouldn't be out here at this time of night. What kind of parents do you have?" But there was just more laughter, closer, and then a voice. Small, childlike. But the words were adult and very menacing. Sarah's story. I was just stopping. I just stopped in the middle of the road because I was like, what in the heck is that? And then I heard a voice say, "Run. Run, human. Run fast. We love it when you run." Makes the game more fun, don't you think? And then out of nowhere, I heard more footsteps, dozens of footsteps, and they were running through the forest. I could see these figures running through the forest, and they were circling me, and I started screaming, and I started running, and branches were breaking, and something hit me hard in the shoulder, and I looked down. I had my flashlight, and I looked down, and it was a rock, and then another, and then I was being pelted by these rocks, and I just kept running and gasping, and finally I broke out of the forest onto this road, and there was a car coming, and I just stopped it, and I said, "Please help me. There's somebody in the forest." And I remember this guy got out of his truck, and he came around to me, and he's like, "Hun, you're bleeding." And I was bleeding on my forehead. And I just remember that when we got in the truck, I said, "I can still hear the laughing. I can hear it." I will never forget that voice. And I will never forget what that man said. He said, "Sounds like you had an encounter with the Puckwudgies." I just looked at him. The what? And he said, the forest creatures. They don't like humans. I've never got that night out of my head. I never went running at night again, alone. The Bridgewater Triangle is real. And whatever is real that's in it is terrifying. September 2003, Freetown State Forest, Massachusetts. This is only one of the many stories that you are going to hear tonight. Live, true encounters. The forest is a beautiful place. I mean, if you look at it, it looks tranquil and serene. But there are things that dwell there. And tonight, you're going to learn exactly what. Sarah Martinez went for her run in the evening. She wasn't expecting to come in contact with the forest creatures. Now, they're not little cute elf-like beings that love you and pick flowers for you and bring them to you and ask if you'll bend down and they can put them in your hair. No. They're evil and dark. And they throw rocks at you. They do have a cute little name, but they throw rocks at you. Now, what's crazy for Sarah is she ran this trail 200 plus times. And that night she encountered the puckwudgies. And I've been calling my cats those, by the way. And they knew her name. She said that one of them actually called her Sarah. Welcome to night 2. Tonight we meet the creatures of the Bridgewater Triangle. And there are quite a few. The puckwudgies who hurt humans, the Bigfoot that stalks the swamp, the UFOs that abduct witnesses, and the phenomena that defy explanation. Tonight we are going to hear the stories of people who have encountered these creatures. Real people, real encounters, real terror. Welcome, Parafan. I'm Bryn Morgan. I'm a horror author and I'm also a lover of the paranormal. And tonight we are going to delve deep into the Bridgewater Triangle. We are going to delve deep into the creatures that live there and the people who have actually survived or not survived meeting them. These are their stories. And I warn you, some of them did not make it out the same. Some of them didn't make it out at all. Let's start with the puckwudgies. Welcome into night 2. Night 2 roll call, and you can answer in the chat. Were you here for night 1 on Monday night? Let me see it. Yes or no? Where are you watching from tonight? Anyone from the great state of Massachusetts? If you heard children laughing in the woods, but you saw no children, would you investigate or would you run? Be honest. If those puckwudgies were to come out of the forest, would you stay? Have you ever felt that something was hunting you? Tell me, yes or no. Most important, are you ready to hear real encounters? stories from people who have actually met these creatures. This is going to get intense, y'all. Yes or no? Shirley, Michigan, stop, drop, and roll my butt out of there. Pamela, hey, yes. Carol, yes, I was here. Kansas. Curious, if someone left them an offering, what would they do? I don't know. X-Shay says, I thought this was night 3. I can't keep up. We love you anyway, X. Tomorrow night is night 3. God is lovely. She is our Massachusetts resident. Wyoming, Truth Seeker, hello. Rhonda from California. Rhonda Felicia, yes, she was here. Pamela from Pennsylvania. Guys, we are trying to get past whatever TikTok is going through with their algorithms and everything, so just hang on there with us. Gina D'Amico from Pittsburgh. Is this your first time here? Welcome in. Hey, Sandy. Exotic Girl, Bird Lady, welcome, welcome. Lulu, Whiskey Parrot, thank you for the follow. Do you like the paranormal? Jackie, hey. Alicia, hey. Look at all my beauties in here. Aw, thank you. You know what's amazing? Tonight is a good night. I feel really good about it. Cheryl, your first time here. Welcome in. Hey, Marianne Sims. Love you. Booking Through Life says, as had young children, I'd have to check. Maxilla, hello. Oh, I'm so glad you love it here. Welcome in, everyone. Hey, Monkey. Hey, Magic Moon, good to see you. So we learned about the triangle on Monday night. Now we're going to learn about what actually lives there. And trust me, these stories, they will stay with you. Let's start with the most famous creatures of the triangle. The ones the Native Americans feared most. The Pukwudgies. The Pukwudgies are not folklore. The Pukwudgies were talked about around the campfires. They were something to be feared. They were part of the Wampanoag spiritual belief that was going back thousands of years. Now, what are they? Well, their height is about 2 to 3 feet tall. Their skin is a gray or a grayish brown. Their features are large eyes, a large nose, and large fingers. Their build is thin but muscular. Their movement is quick, agile, and can climb and jump very, very high. Their appearance is humanoid. They almost have the characteristics of children, but distinctly not human. But here's what makes them absolutely terrifying. Their abilities, according to the Wampanoag tradition and modern witnesses, are they can appear and disappear. They can vanish instantly, just like that. They can throw their voices. They can mimic. They can sound like children, adults, animals, even. They can create illusions. They can make you think that you are on the right path. They can create false paths. They can create phantom structures. They have supernatural strength. They can throw rocks with deadly force. They can manipulate fire. They can start fires and control the flames. as high as they wish. They know human thoughts. They seem to read minds and to know your name. What they do, according to the Wampanoag tribe, Pukwudgies were once very helpful for spirits. Yeah. They aided humans, protected animals, maintained balance. But then these humans began to disrespect them. And when that happened, then there was a major problem. They mocked them, hunted them, destroyed their homes. And that is one thing that the Pukwudgies were not going to tolerate. So as a result of it, these 2 to 3 foot creatures, they turn malevolent. Now they lure people into danger, swamps, cliffs, throw rocks and stones, and they don't care where they throw them or where they land. They push people off of cliffs and big heights. They lead people astray. They get them lost on purpose. And they torment those who enter their territory. And according to some, they will even unalive you. Their signature is throwing rocks. Dozens of witnesses report being pelted with stones. Here are just a few of their stories. The first lady, she remains anonymous, but she said that she was out walking with her husband early one morning in the forest, and something hit her in the back of the head. And she reached back and she felt it, and blood came up on her fingers. And she said that it hurt so bad that she fell. She lost her balance and she fell to the forest floor. And her husband was like, "What's wrong?" She said, "Something just hit me. Something just hit me very, very hard." She said that her palm was covered in blood. Another one is a family that was going hiking. The mom was walking back. They had not been that far on the trail, and she had left some meds in the car. As she was walking down the path, something hit her in the arm. She said it was very, very forceful. She had a bruise for days. When she looked down, she saw that it was a rock. And the way that she describes it, it's not some little pebble, but a big one, a big stone. These things come at people from multiple directions, but when they turn around, no one is there. So, the Pukwudgies, they have a specific ability and methods. They're terrifying little creatures, to be honest. They can vanish instantly, appear and disappear. If you saw something disappear before your eyes, would you believe what you saw? Or would you question your sanity? They have the capability of throwing their voice. So they can sound like children, little children, to lure victims. I find that fascinating that they're able to do that. And they can mimic human voices to haunt to the most terrifying ability. Why is that so disturbing to me? Is it disturbing to you? They seem to know people's names without being told. Sarah heard her name called. Does that scare you? How do they know this? Mind reading, spiritual knowledge? What's your theory? They were once helpful creatures until the humans began to mistreat them, and then they turned malevolent after being disrespected Can supernatural beings change based on how humans treat them? Is it our fault? I'll go to the chat. Lisa says yes. Shirley says I've changed my name so they don't know. Shirley. Hey, Goddess Lovely says yes. Hey, Tara. Cody, hello and welcome in. Hey, Siamese. Hey, Mommy of Creature, welcome in. Thank you for the Go Popular. Thank you for sharing with more than 10 friends, Palm. Thank you. Thank you for the FYF. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Melissa. I saw your request. Hey, Wickwalk, you can sit anywhere that you want. Siamese, thank you for the follow. Hey, Pink, welcome in, everyone. So the Pukwudgies, they're intelligent. Very intelligent. And they're not mindless monsters. And people have encountered them, and let me tell you some more of those stories. These are real people who encountered Pukwudgies in the Triangle. Have you had an experience with them? Goddess Lovely, have you walked through the forest and heard rocks being thrown? James Cooper was a 38-year-old man. He was an experienced outdoorsman. He had heard really good things about the forest and about the Triangle, and he was very interested. It was October 1998, and he was hiking in the Freetown State Forest. James' account. I love nature. I love everything about it. I love the forest. I love the swamp. I love the creatures in it. I love it all. I have hiked all over New England. I'm not easily spooked. But that day in Freetown, something was wrong from the start. I was about 2 miles into the trail when I heard giggling. And it was kids' voices, and I thought, great, I'm not alone. I really wanted to be alone. That's why I go hiking, is to be alone. The whole time I'm walking down this trail, I hear laughing, whispering, giggling. And I even turned around at one point and I said, who's there? And I just heard just some slight whispering. But then, at one point, I thought it was a bunch of kids that were in the woods. I was like, what is this? Like a field day or something? Are they out here in the woods exploring? But then I realized that it was 2 p.m. in the afternoon and the kids should be in school. But I hollered out just the same. I even said, I'm going to find your teacher and I'm going to tell her that you're picking on people on the trail. They're not going to like that. So I just kept walking and the giggling followed me. The trees were moving, the bushes were moving. I looked up above me just trying to see something, and I could have swore that I saw something out in my peripheral vision, like leaping from limb to limb, but I'm like, I'm going insane. And it was just moving through the trees and just keeping pace with me. So I stopped, and the giggling stopped. And then I walked, and it started again. And then, wham! Something hit my back, and it was hard. It was a rock. It was a fist-sized rock. I spun around. I'm like, hey! But there was nothing there. No one was there. And then another rock hit my leg. I was wearing shorts, and it hit my leg right below my knee, and it hit the bone. And then another one hit my shoulder. They were going so fast that it seemed like they were blurry. Rocks were coming from every direction. Dozens of them. I covered my head and I ran. The whole time I heard laughing behind me. Mocking laughter, like this was nothing but a game to them. I made it back to my car. I mean, I had bruises all over me, blood on my face. My backpack had holes in it from the impacts. I went to the park ranger's office and I filed a report. And that is when I really got tripped out. Because the park ranger looked at me, he just nodded and he said, yeah, the puckwudgies got you. You're lucky. You're lucky that's all they did. And I turned and looked at him and I said, what is a puckwudgie? And then he showed me a picture. I never returned to the Freestone State Forest, never. The second story, Melissa Tran, 2005. Melissa Tran was 26. She was a photographer, and it was June 2005, and she was at Profile Rock, Freetown. This is Melissa's account. I have always loved hiking. I loved it. My mom hikes, my dad hikes, my two brothers hike. I love it. It's born in me. I'm a nature freak. That's why I specialized in photography. I went to Profile Rock to photograph the sunset. I had heard that it was just absolutely breathtaking. It's a beautiful spot. It's a rock formation that looks like a face. And I'd heard the legends about the puckwudgies, about Bigfoot, about UFOs, and it doesn't scare me. That kind of stuff really doesn't scare me. I'm not superstitious. I don't believe in ghosts. I just don't. So I was setting up my tripod when I heard a child's voice behind me. And I was setting up the camera and I heard, Miss, can you help me? So I turned around and there was no one there. And I started working on my camera again, adjusting my angles for what I wanted, and then I heard it again. Closer this time, though. Miss, I'm lost. Can you help me find my mommy? So I turned around again, and still, there was no one there. Just a voice. and it felt like it was coming from the air. I backed up toward the edge of the rock. I was trying my best to find this kid. I mean, it sounded just like a kid. And so I backed up toward the edge of this rock. And I said, "Hello? Are you there? Hey, come on out. I'm just going to take a few pics and then we can go and try to find your mom." And then I heard, and I just got the coldest chills. But it sounded like it was behind me. So I turned back to the cliff face and I was looking down into the valley, and then I felt it. Hands. Small hands on my back. And it was pushing me. And I was just mere inches from the cliff. And it just kept pushing me. And finally, I dug my feet down in the dirt. And I was like, I'm not moving, because if I let this thing keep pushing me, I'm going to go over the side. There was this tree branch that was there, and I grabbed onto it, and I pushed myself away from the edge. I turned around and there was nothing, but I swear there were hands on my back. I felt them trying to push me off. I ran down that rock faster than I've ever moved. And when I got to my car, I looked at my camera. I had taken one photo before all this started in the background. And in the background, barely visible, there they were. 3 small figures standing on the rock, just watching me. With glowing eyes. I showed the photo to my professor, and he thought it was crazy. He's like, "What is that?" And I said, "I think I had an encounter with puckwudgies." I don't even want to think about that day, because those figures, they were still smiling, and I knew that I was about to die. They were going to unalive me. Melissa never went back to the forest again. Story number 3 is the Morrison family. Here's a closer up. There's those cute little beings. David and Karen Morrison were with their teenage son, Tyler. It was his 16th birthday, and he wanted to go to the mountains. It was August 2012, and they were camping in the Freetown State Forest. Now, this story is terrifying because it lasted all night. This is David's account. It was either go to the beach or go to the mountains. Tyler has always loved the mountains. He loves it, and so we packed up all our camping gear and we went away for the weekend. We arrived at our campsite. It was probably around 4 p.m. We set up our tent. We went and did some fishing, made dinner. Everything was perfect. Tyler was excited. It was his 16th birthday. He had got a Jeep for his birthday present, so we let him take that, and his mom and I were very excited. It was going to be a good weekend. Around 10 p.m., we started to hear voices, children's voices, singing. And we thought, oh, well, another family must be camping nearby. They were singing "Row, row, row your boat" gently down the stream. I mean, it was just as clear as a bell. And we felt good about it. I mean, it was odd, but it was old-fashioned. It was like a song from the 1800s. And it went on for about 30 minutes. I walked outside the tent just to try to kind of figure out where the sound was coming from. And I even hollered out. I said, "Hello there." And no one responded. I mean, the singing was very close. You would think that it was just a little ways down the hill from us. So it was around 11, and it got very quiet. We were snuggling down in our sleeping bags, and we started to hear footprints. We heard branches cracking, leaves. It was small footsteps, though. And we could see the shadows circling our tent. And at one point, they were circling our tent like they were going around in a circle. And they were singing, "Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy." It was scary. My wife was about to just completely freak out. And they were just kept going around and around and around. And Tyler whispered, he said, "Dad, what is that?" And I don't want to freak anyone out, but you hear horror stories of people that go camping and encounter things that they wish they hadn't. So I told him, I said, "Well, I think it's probably raccoons." And my wife spoke up and she said, "Honey, raccoons don't sing." And then we heard giggling. One moment it would be coming from the north. And then from the southern edge. And then from the east. And then from the west. Karen's account. I wanted to leave right then and there. I looked at David and I said, "David, I don't know what's out there, but I don't like it. I do not like it. I want to leave." But David said that we couldn't do it. He said, "We don't know what is out there. And whatever it is, they're playing with us. They're toying with us." I've never been so scared. We couldn't drive in the dark on those dark forest roads, and he said that we would have to wait until morning. So we stayed in that tent all night. I'm telling you, the footsteps never stopped. They circled us for hours on end. And sometimes, I swear, I heard them call our names. It was around 4 o'clock in the morning that these things started throwing things at our tent. Rocks, stones. I was terrified. I was so scared that one of them were going to strike us. What we did was we all kind of met in the middle of the tent and we huddled together and we threw blankets over us, everything that we could possibly think of to shield it. Around 5 a.m., whatever they were throwing at us stopped. And something started pushing on the tent walls from all sides. It was just like dozens of small hands that were pressing in on us. I looked up at one point, and David said that there were holes in our tent now. We could feel the cold air starting to rush in, and the tent fabric just stretched and bowed. I was crying. I admit it. And David and Tyler were scared too. Around 6 a.m., we heard scratching. We were still huddled under 4 blankets. It sounded like nails on the fabric. I thought, they're going to tear straight through. They're going to get in and they're going to get us. Tyler's account. He's now 27 years old. I used to love hiking. I won't go back. That was the most terrifying night of my life. We didn't sleep. We just sat there. We were huddled together. We were just listening to these things torment us. At dawn, the sounds did stop instantly. It was kind of like a flip switch. When we took the blankets off of our head and actually looked at the tent, it was in shatters. It was time to get the hell out of there. David. When we looked at the tent in the daylight, there were marks all over it. There were marks all over it, small handprints, hundreds of them, pressed into the fabric from the outside, and scratches, long scratch marks. We had to throw the tent away. We never went camping again. And sometimes late at night, even when I'm at home on my back porch and I'm looking out toward the forest, I swear to God, I can still hear something singing, Ring Around the Rosies. The Morrisons were so terrified of the woods, they left Massachusetts altogether. So these Pukwudgie encounter stories are documented, and they are terrifying. James Cooper was attacked from multiple directions by rocks. How is this physically possible without supernatural explanation? What could do this? Melissa Tran felt hands pushing her toward a cliff edge. Monday night, when we talked about the Pukwudgies, that was mild compared to what we're finding out about them now. Small hands on her back. If you felt invisible hands pushing you, would you believe it or think that you imagined it? Come on, be honest. The Morrison family endured an all-night siege with voices calling their names. How did the creatures know their names? This is what terrifies me the most. All these stories, all 3 of them, they are involving intelligent harassment, planned, sustained attacks. Does this prove that Pukwudgies are sentient hunters? Are they more dangerous than mindless monsters? Let's go to the chat. Andrew says yes. Karen, thank you for the repost. Michelle, thank you for the follow. Big Dog, USMC, welcome in. They are very dangerous. Yes. Michelle, thank you for the heart meme. Kim says, yes, I would believe it. Carrie Reapy, thank you for the repost. Mallory, the beach lady. I love the beach too. Thank you for the present. Thank you so much. Row, row, row your boat. Yes. Emmy Joe, love you so much. Thank you. Emmy Joe, thank you for the follow and thank you for the repost. They are nothing but trouble. Absolutely. Everybody, welcome in. So good to see new names. Bubble Pop, hello. Hope you love Little Butterfly. Hey there, how are you? Hey Karen. If I missed anyone, please let me know. Crystal, welcome in. Definitely not raccoons singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Palm says I would believe it if I experienced it for sure. Thank you for the FYF, Sandy. Vivi says sorry. So the Puckwudgies, they're not random. Oh, thank you for the football, big dog. Scott, I am good. How are you? So the Puckwudgies, they're not random. There are numerous attacks. They target people, they know things, and they take pleasure in human fear. That's scary. But they're not the only creatures in the triangle. Not by a long shot. When we come back from intermission, we're going to talk about another creature. A big one. This one's not 2 to 3 feet. This one's 7 to 8 feet tall and hairy. You've probably already guessed what it is now. Yes, we're going to talk about Bigfoot. Bigfoot in Massachusetts. Let's take a 10-minute intermission, and when we come back, we will continue the Bridgewater Triangle. I hope that you're enjoying it. I'll be right back. Nice crowd tonight. Hello, Applecan. Thank you for sharing the live. Oh, the Tumblr. Hold on one second. Oh, I gotta get used to this. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Paranormal Files live with my creepy ghoul, which I love. My microphone is in the way. Paranormal hold on, Files live. And then it has a ghoul on it. Damn! I hope you I hope y'all are able to see that. The flip camera is tripping me out. I love it. It's a 40 ounce. It's a ghost. I said a ghoul, but it can be a ghost. Exotic girl. Are you laughing at me? It is. It's a big one. I love a lot of water, and I told X I wanted a big one, so she got me a 40 ounce. I know, it's cool, isn't it? Bubble pop. Oh my gosh. Hello, Patty. Welcome in. Right. Hey, Turtle Woman. Dizzy, thank you for the follow. Lenny, thank you for the follow. Oh, grandchildren, I hear you. I mean, I'm not a grandma, but I hear you. Hey there. SR Chicken 58, welcome in. So this is my time to come in and just say hi to everyone, and then get ready to continue the story. What do you think about those puck wedgies? Scary little creatures. Oh, you like my laugh. Well, thank you, Senior Chicken. I'm glad. I'm working on a laugh, y'all, that you are going to be so scared. I'm working on it. I haven't perfected it yet, but it is coming, and it's going to be terrifying. But it's going to have to be for one particular story that I am writing. I'm so glad that you like them, Lisa. So glad. They are cute, aren't they, Goddess Slowly? Cute little suckers. Let's take about 4 more minutes. Just want to come in, say hi to everyone. Oh, I'm so glad you like them, Singer Chicken. I'm glad you found me too, Lisa. So glad. The people that find this live, you're meant to be here. You're meant to be here. Unknown caller. Son of a peanut. Why does my phone keep ringing? All right, Rebecca. That's awesome. It'll be out. See you in long. Thank you for the follow. Alicia, my husband's going to do it. She's going to be using my vehicle, though. Well, hello, Chancellor Abbott. I'm so glad that you are here. I'm terrified. I cannot believe that I'm going to have a 16-year-old. It just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. That is so cool. Your guide brought you here, and the council told me to pay attention. Well, welcome in. Gabriel, thank you for the follow. Wisdom, thank you for the follow. Wisdom Pythra, or Pythra. I love that. I don't even want to think about that, Chancellor Abbott. I don't even want to think about that. I just can't believe it. Do I look old enough to have a 16-year-old little night queen? No. Oh, Lisa. Oh, Lisa. Oh. I'm full of sadness. Chancellor Abbott, you have a 35-year-old. Oh my God. They grow so fast. I used to think that people were stupid that actually made that comment. They're like, make sure you take a lot of pictures now because they're going to grow up quick. And I would just look at them and I'd be like, okay. And now here we are, and she's about to turn 16. That is so awesome. Did you like my old Southern grandmother? Chancellor, thank you for the follow. Love having you here. Love having all of you here. This is a very interactive live. 33, 28, 26, 24, and a grandma 3. You're so blessed. You really, really are. So this is a very interactive live. This isn't one of those lives where you come in and you just sit back and it's boring and you're, wanting to scroll out of it as quickly as possible, hoping no one saw you. This is a very interactive live. I've actually did that. This is a very interactive live. I want you to come in. I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy yourself, and I want you to come back again. All right. Wow, Kim. Oh my goodness. They truly do grow so fast. Thank you for the heartbeat, Jackie. I do want to impress on everyone, if you haven't reposted, please do. If you haven't shared the live, please do. If you are not tapping, please do. All of that helps us to get out there, to get on the FYF. So thank you so much. Share your stories if you can. I really appreciate it. That's great, Chancellor Abbott. Monkey, thank you for the repost. If everyone does this, this will help us to get out there. If you're enjoying the story, drop some blue hearts in the chat, and let's get started. So we talked about the Pukwudgies. Now we're going to move over to another creature of the Bridgewater Triangle. And these sightings are quite a few as well. Bigfoot sightings happen in the Bridgewater Triangle. I keep wanting to call it the Brightwater. What's up with that? Multiple witnesses, footprints, howls. Something large is in these woods. Look at all that beautiful blue. Blue is my favorite color, by the way. Robert Hayes, 52 years old, a lifetime hunter. This is his story. It was November 1991 in Hockomock Swamp area. Robert's account. Every year, I go out and I hunt. It's the hunting season. We only have a certain time to go hunting with that particular weapon, and I was bow hunting for deer. I had been in my tree stand for about 3 hours. It was a quiet morning, and then I smelled it. Now, I'm originally from Virginia, but my mom and dad, they have a farm up in Massachusetts, and I just go up there just for hunting. I'm up in my tree stand though, and I have this terrible smell that comes right up beneath me. I would have to say that it was the worst smell that I've ever encountered. It was like a wet dog mixed with rotting garbage, mixed with something dead. So strong that it made my eyes water. It was the most disgusting smell. If you've ever been deer hunting, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then it was a little bit further away, and I started to hear it crashing through the brush. It was something big, and I thought maybe that it was a bear. And I readied my bow, and then it stepped right into my view. The thing had to have been 8 or 9 feet tall. It was massive. It was covered in dark brown hair. It walked on 2 legs. It was human-like, but not human. The body was just all wrong. It was too muscular. The arms were too long. And then it stopped, maybe 40 yards from my stand. And I looked at it, and it looked at me, and we had direct freaking eye contact. I could see its face. I could see it. It was a flat nose. It was a heavy brow. It was eyes that looked intelligent, like it was thinking. We stared at each other for what felt like an hour. I was terrified. It was only probably 30 seconds, but then I turned in the tree stand, and I looked through my binoculars to see if anybody else was near me, but nobody was. And that thing just turned and just walked away. Like it wasn't worried about me at all. It wasn't in a hurry. It was just taking its time. After I left, I climbed down and looked at where it had been standing. And there were these huge footprints. I mean, they were huge. They had to have been 18 inches long. 5 toes, deep impressions, whatever this was. It was heavy. I took measurements of it, made sketches, filed a report with the cryptozoology group. They said, "Congratulations, sir. You saw your Sasquatch in Massachusetts." Now, they called it Sasquatch, but I've only ever heard it Bigfoot. I said, "Well, what in the hell?" It really is real. And they looked at me and they nodded. And they said, yeah, you can have a conversation with the 47 other people that have reported the exact same thing in the Bridgewater Triangle. I still hunt. I've even been back to the Hockomock, but I've never seen it again. Kind of look at it as an honor that it showed itself to me, but God, it's stink. The next story is The Howl, Jenny and Mark Sullivan, 2008. They were newlyweds, both 29, and it was their camping anniversary. It was something that they both loved. July 2008, Freetown State Forest. Jenny's account. Well, I guess I should start at the beginning because Mark and I met at a camp when we were teenagers. We were the camp counselors. He was the camp counselor for the boys. I was the camp counselor for the girls. And it's just a way that we bonded. We just loved it. And we even got married at our own camping site where we used to camp. It was this old camping a place called Wakamaka, I think. But anyway, we were spending our honeymoon in the forest. We were roasting marshmallows and by the fire, and we were laughing. And we were just having a perfect night. We were drinking coffee with a little bit thrown in, and then we heard it. A howl. It wasn't a wolf howl, though. It wasn't a coyote. It was deeper and louder, and it came from so close, like maybe 100 yards away. Mark and I both froze when we heard it. We had never heard anything so loud. We looked at each other like, what was that? And then it howled again, and this time it was even closer. And it was answered by another howl from the opposite direction. We were surrounded. Mark's account. I've done a lot of camping. I met my wife camping. I know animal sounds. And I can tell you now that that was no animal that I've ever heard. It wasn't a wolf. It wasn't a coyote. It was too low. It was too powerful. It shook my chest when I heard it. We put out the fire and we got in our tent, and we were terrified the whole night because all we heard was movement. We heard branches creaking. We heard things walking around our tent. Big movement, branches snapping, heavy footsteps. And every hour or so, we would hear that howl. It was just a terrifying thing. And at one point, something walked right past our tent. And it was fast. The footsteps shook the ground. Whatever it was massive. Jenny. In the morning, we found tracks all around our campsite, huge footprints, and trees with bark just scraped off at 7 or 8 feet high, like something tall had been scratching at them. We left at dawn. We weren't going to stay around something that was, well, we just didn't know what it was. I mean, we didn't even hardly pack properly. We just threw everything in the car and we drove away. I kept looking in the rearview mirror, expecting to see something following us. But we never saw anything. Um, our marriage didn't make it, not because of what we heard in the woods that night, but just we found out that we were not each other's person. Um, I'm still paranoid when I go on a hiking trip or go camping. I'm always listening out for that howl. I did have one of the park rangers when we were driving away. We had to give them back a ticket, and they're like, "You just got here last night." And we told them that we had seen something, or not seen something, but heard something um, the night before that was a howl. And he just looked at us just as casual as anything, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, we met Bigfoot." Okay, I guess we met Bigfoot. Carlos Rivera was 44 years old, and he was a wildlife photographer. It was October 2016 near the Hockomock Swamp. Now, this story is different because Carlos has photos. This is Carlos's account. I specialize in wildlife photography, bear, deer, birds. I'd heard about the Bridgewater Triangle, the Bigfoot sightings. I thought, man, if I can just get proof, that's Pulitzer material right there. So I set up the camera traps. They were motion activated, and there were 8 cameras throughout the forest. And I left them for a week. So I placed 7 cameras around the area that I was in. I strapped them to the trees um, just to capture normal wildlife, deer, raccoons, coyotes. But camera number 8 showed me something that I'd never seen. It captured something in the middle of the night at 2:47 a.m. It was a face, and it was looking directly at the camera from about 15 feet away. It had a flat face, heavy brows, eyes that were reflecting the camera flash, but not like animal eyes, more like human eyes, but wrong. The face was huge, at least 2 feet from chin to forehead, covered in dark hair except for the actual face itself. And here's what haunts me about it. It was the expression. It wasn't angry, it wasn't scared, it just looked curious. Like it was studying the camera, trying to figure out what it was. I submitted the photo to every expert that I could find. Primatologists, wildlife experts, special effects artists, have said it was real, have said it could be a person in a costume. but none could definitively say that it was fake. I'd go back and forth. Some days I think I captured proof of Bigfoot, and then other days I think someone is playing an elaborate prank on me. But here's what I can't explain. That camera that I placed was 12 feet up a tree. 12 feet. Whatever was in that photo would had to have been at least 8 feet, 9 feet tall to have its face at that height. And no human in that forest would be that tall. Carlos still has the photo, he says. He's never published it publicly. He said, if it is real, I don't want to be responsible for people going into those woods looking for it, because if they find it, they might not come back. So, Bigfoot encounters in the Triangle are consistent, parapham. Robert Hayes, experienced hunter, made direct eye contact with an 8-foot creature. He said that it looked intelligent, not malevolent at all. Can animals look intelligent, or is this proof of something more? What did he see? The Sullivans heard howls that shook their chest and were answered by other howls. Is there more than one Bigfoot in the Bridgewater Triangle? Suggesting multiple creatures, perhaps? Is there a Bigfoot population in Massachusetts? How many are there? Carlos Rivera got a photo of a face looking at the camera, 12 feet up a tree. If this photo exists, why hasn't it gone viral? Would you publish it, or would you keep it secret? All three of these stories mention a horrible smell. Rotting, horrible odor. Why do Bigfoot creatures smell so bad? I've heard this. What's the evolutionary purpose behind it? I'll go to the chat. Foxcora says, I've communicated with their spirits. They are guardians of the earth and elemental type energies. I love that. I just wish they smelled better. Shirley says, animals are very intelligent. Kim says, he saw Bigfoot. I believe him. Voxcora says, animals are extremely intelligent too. Robin, thank you for the follow. Jackie says, peekaboo. I don't know, Michelle. 7 cameras. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe he was trying to put them at different angles in different areas. Ebony Eyes, welcome in. Thank you all for sharing the live. Thank you for the post. I see it. Hey, David. Welcome in. They were marking their territory. Sounds to me like there's more than one. Rainy, welcome in. Oh, I love your name. That's pretty. What's up with all the scrolling out? Typing too fast, perhaps? Judge JT, welcome in. Candace, thank you for the follow. Welcome in, everyone. There could be a Bigfoot family there. Does anybody remember the movie Harry and the Hendersons? That's one of my favorite movies. That movie is so cute. He has lashes. Yes, that's what I was thinking when they all came out and they all had a family. Hello, Toilet Spider. Welcome in. Hey, Jim Rocks. Welcome in. This is turning out to be a pretty cool investigation. I am enjoying it. Are you enjoying it? Let me see some yellow hearts in the chat. So, Bigfoot in the triangle is consistent. Multiple witness over decades, physical evidence, photos. But here's the question. Are the Bigfoot creatures connected to the other phenomena? Oh, that just put me in such a good mood. Look at all that yellow. Are they connected to the other phenomena in the Bridgewater Triangle? Are they part of the same thing? Or are they separate? We'll explore that theory later, but first, let's talk about something else that is in the Bridgewater Triangle, and there have been many, many sightings. Let's talk about the UFOs. So on Monday night, we last learned about the UFO sightings dating back to the 1760s, which was just absolutely crazy to me when I started thinking about that. That they were known that far back. That was like their first known sightings. But tonight we are going to hear from people who didn't just see the crafts, they were taken by them. This is Paul, age 31, and Diane, 28. And they are no relation to the Camping family. Their name just happens to be Morrison, too. It was September 1976, and they were driving home from dinner. Now, this is one of the most documented cases in the Triangle history. Diane's account. We were driving on Route 44 near the Hockomock Swamp. It was about 10 p.m. in the morning, in the evening. I just remember telling him that it was such a clear night. I mean, you could see every star in the sky. It was just absolutely beautiful, just breathtaking. And we were talking about the meal that we had just had. He had taken me out for steak, and I had a baked potato and salad and a couple glasses of wine, and it was a beautiful night. It was just a time for him and I to be alone. We had been trying to have a child for the longest time, and it just wasn't working, and this was just a night for us just to get away from all of it, from the IVF and everything that was going on. So we're driving down the road. I was getting a little drowsy, and I remember that Paul had turned off the radio, and we were just driving along. And then I was about to doze off, and Paul said, "What is that?" And he pointed at the sky. And there was this light. It was just shining down in the middle of the road. It wasn't really bright at the moment, but you could tell that something was beaming down. It was this light, and it was bright, and it had white with hints of blue, and it was moving over the trees. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't a helicopter. It was silent as it could be. And then this light got closer and bigger, and then it was right over us. And our cars started making this strange noise. And right there, in the middle of the road, it just stops. The car stops. The engine just dies. The engine sputtered a couple times and then it just cut off. All the electronics went out, the radio went out, the lights, everything. We were just sitting there. And then we started to roll. The car started to roll a little bit. And it rolled to the side of the road. I remember that. It was like it was on momentum though. And then the inside of the car just got really bright. And it was like someone was shining a spotlight on us from above. But the light was coming through our roof somehow. I grabbed Paul's hand and I just remember telling him I'm scared. And he said, me too. And then nothing. Next thing I know, we're parked on the side of the road. The engine is running, the radio is playing like nothing at all happened. Nothing. I looked at the clock on the dashboard of the car. It said 2:15 a.m. We had left the restaurant at 9:30. We were driving down the road at 10 o'clock p.m. The drive home takes 20 minutes. We were missing for 4 hours, Paul and I. We had no memory of those 4 hours. Nothing that happened in those 4 hours. None. It was like someone had just cut them out of our lives. What happened next to Paul and his wife? They reported it to the police. The police told us that you're the fourth couple this month to report missing time on Route 44. They underwent, they sent us to a hypnotist. We underwent hypnotherapy to try to recover the memories. Under hypnosis, both Diane and Paul recalled. Diane, under hypnotic regression. The light, it's so bright. I can't move. I'm floating. I'm floating out of the car, up into the light. Paul is next to me. We're both floating. Paul said, under hypnotherapy, we're inside. It's a white room. It's so clean. There are figures, small, gray, big eyes. They're examining us. I felt pressure on my arm. They're taking something from me. Blood? I can't move. I want to scream, but I can't. They're in my head. I can hear them. Not with my ears, in my mind. They're saying, don't be afraid. We won't hurt you. This is necessary to learn your species. But I'm afraid. I'm terrified. I see my wife on the table beside me, and they show me images of Earth from space, beautiful, then fire, destruction. They're showing me something. A warning? Both woke from hypnosis, screaming. They refused further sessions. Paul and Diane moved to California in 1977. They never spoke publicly about their experience again. They thought that people would think that they were crazy and insane. But in 2015, a researcher tracked them down. They were both now in their 70s, confirmed that the experience was indeed real. And they've had nightmares about it ever since. So, UFO abduction stories involving missing time and recovered memories. Paul and Diane lost 4 hours with no memory, Paravan. Is missing time proof of abduction? Or could there be another explanation? What happened during those 4 hours? Under hypnosis, they both were called gray beings and a clean, sterile, white room. If two people remember the same exact abduction, is that evidence or a shared delusion? Can hypnosis be trusted? They said that the beings communicated telepathically, showing images of Earth's destruction. Were they warning humanity, or were they threatening us? What was the message here? They moved to California and still have nightmares 40 plus years later. Does alien abduction cause PTSD? Can you heal from this trauma? I'm going to the chat. Warning of what could happen, Kim says. Vox Chorus says, could be testing reaction. Ember says, I believe they were taken. Tigger says, wow. Kim says, could be, but I would believe them. Lulu says, I heard a group of people who have been taking all the memories are similar. Yeah, me too. Ben Snow, 10 Strike, a nightmare. Yes, absolutely. Welcome in. Kim says they're showing us the end of the world, the end of times. Ben, thank you for the follow. Alexander, welcome in. It is scary, very scary. 4 hours missing. Hey, Cherish, how are you, darling? Missy Green, 34, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Ah, what a good night. So many paranormal family lovers out there. I love it. Kim says, only seen one UFO when I lived in Utah. How many of you have seen a UFO? Alicia says, too many edibles. I see y'all talking about all that good food in the chat. You make me hungry. Are you happy? Tigger says, I have one twice. Palm says, I've never seen one. I think I did, out in the country one night. Green Shiloh, thank you for the follow. Justine Kearns, thank you for the follow. Tigger says, I have twice. Justine says, I have. Vox Chorus says, I've seen them a lot. So, what do they look like? Do they look kind of like what Paul and Diane were describing? Kim, you live 7 hours from Area 51. Pink says, no, I have not seen it. Goddess Lily says, I won't say it's a UFO, but we have seen lights many times, especially in Lakeville. Alicia says, I've never seen one. Voxcora says, I saw one being chased by jets or escorted. Ooh, really? Now see, I saw a documentary on that. I found that to be very interesting. They say they see these things all the time. Ember says, my mother said she was taken and they took her baby that she was pregnant with. Oh no. Booking Through Life says sometimes anything to leave here for a bit. Rebecca says ignorance is bliss on my end. I don't want to see one. I hear that. UFO encounters in the triangle are not just lights in the sky. People are taken and they come back changed. I'm going to tell you one more story. The most disturbing one, because this one involved children. This story is different because it involved multiple child witnesses. It was October 1994. There was a school bus. It was on Route 44. There were 27 children on board the bus between ages 8 to 12. And they all saw it. What happened? Well, the bus driver, Martha Henderson, was 62 at the time. She was driving the afternoon route. Here's some beautiful images of UFOs that I created. It was 3:45 p.m. It was a clear day. It was a normal route. This is Martha's account. I've been driving this route for 15 years. I know every turn, every stop. Nothing unusual ever happens. That day I was driving past Hockomock Swamp. The kids were a little loud that day, but we were about to get out on vacation. And suddenly the bus engine just started making this really weird noise. It was sputtering, and then the radio went to static, pure static, and it was loud. And the kids started pointing out the windows. Miss Henderson, look at the sky. This is the children's encounters. Emily, age 10. There was this big light. It was really big. It was silver and shiny, and it was just floating over the trees and not moving, just there. And any science fiction that I've ever seen, you only see UFOs at night, but this was during the day. Marcus, age 11. No, it wasn't a plane. Planes don't just sit in the sky. This thing was hovering, and it was huge, like bigger than the school. Sarah, age 9. I got scared. I wanted Miss Henderson to drive faster, but the bus was going really slow, like it just couldn't go fast. Martha. I knew the kids were scared because I was seeing it too, and I tried to accelerate, but the bus wouldn't respond. It was like something was holding us there, pulling us back. We were barely moving. The craft, because that's what it was. It was a craft. It stayed with us for about, 5 minutes? Just following us, just hovering over the bus. I was terrified. I didn't know what was going to happen to me, the kids, and then it just shot straight up. Faster than anything that I've ever seen. And it was gone. Just like that. And then after that, the engine came back to normal. Radio started playing music again, and we drove the rest of the route. Like nothing happened. Martha reported this accident to the school, and the school officials interviewed the children. They asked them to draw a picture of exactly what they had seen. And remember that there were 27 children on this bus. When the drawings were done and were being hung up on the wall, it was absolutely astonishing. All 27 children described the same object. All 27 children drew pictures of what they saw. The pictures were consistent: silver, metallic, disc or saucer shape, lights around the edge, silent, and huge. Hey, Ray Bab. The school contacted authorities. No official investigation was ever conducted at the Hockomock Swamp. The school district issued a statement. They had to. And this is what they said. Students witnessed an unidentified aerial phenomenon. No students were harmed. We consider the matter closed. Follow-up. A researcher tracked down 15 of the now adult witnesses. All 15 that they found confirmed that this did happen. And most said that it changed them. Emily, now 35. After that day, I became obsessed with space, astronomy, UFOs. I needed to understand what we saw. I still don't have answers, but to this day, it just fascinates me. It just shows me that we're not alone. We are not alone. Marcus, now 36. People think I'm crazy when I tell this story, but I know what I saw. 26 other people saw it too. We can't all be wrong, right? Sarah, now 34. I don't talk about it much. When I told my mom and dad, they told me that it was the silliest thing that they'd ever heard, and to not talk about it around anyone, to forget that it happened. People judge, but yeah, it was real. And I think about it every time that I see a plane, every time that I'm driving at night and I see lights up in the sky, and it seems like the plane's not going real fast. I'm like, is that what I saw? Because what we saw, even though my mom tried to convince me and my therapist tried to convince me, it wasn't a plane. I know that for a fact. So the school bus incident involved 27 child witnesses and 1 adult. All 27 children described the same craft independently. How do you explain that many consistent testimonies? Mass hallucination or a real event? Do you believe that the children saw it? Martha Henderson, the experienced bus driver, had been driving for years, confirmed it and reported it. Do adult witnesses make child testimony more credible, or vice versa? The school district acknowledged that it happened, but they called it unidentified and closed the case quite firmly. So, should there have been a real investigation? Why wasn't there one done? 15 of those children that were found, now adults, still confirm that it happened 25 plus years later. Does the fact that they maintain their story even as adults prove that it's real? What would you do? Would you change your story to suit your family? What would make you change your story? I think they saw it. Tigger says, no, I would not. Kim says, yes, there should have been. Tigger says, I have had police report the same thing, but nothing. Ember says, I believe the children. No, I'd stick to my story. Tigger says, I believe them totally. How can it be? Oh, thank you for the dolphin, Lulu. Thank you all for the wonderful presents tonight. If you have one that says something, okay. But 27 children that draw a picture of the exact same scene. Yeah. A lot of proof is silenced. Absolutely. Lulu, thank you. That was beautiful. Alicia says, I always believe children. Why would they lie? Right. And it wasn't just the children that saw it. It was Martha, too, the school driver who had been driving for 30 plus years? Even as adults, it's real. The pictures are the proof. Right, Bubble Pop? Thank you for the paper crane. The Bridgewater Triangle. Right, Tigger. Some agencies don't want to let it out. The Men in Black. The Bridgewater Triangle, 200 square miles in Massachusetts. Tonight we've heard about the Pukwudgies and the people who encountered them, Bigfoot and the people who encountered him, the UFOs and the people who encountered them. These are real people with real experiences. Some of them never recovered. Some of them moved away. Some of them are still looking for answers. Tomorrow night, yes, you heard me correctly. Tomorrow night we are wrapping it up with night 3 of the Bridgewater Triangle. Tomorrow night we are going to explore some dark things. The cold activity, what they're doing in those woods, unsolved murders, the ongoing phenomena, why it won't stop, and what it all means. This is the final night. Tomorrow night, the darkest night, because tomorrow we confront the truth about the triangle. Hope y'all loved it all. Drop some white hearts in the chat just to let me know. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, we will get it going. There's some white hearts. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Everyone, please check your notifications so you don't miss the live. Keep it real. You got it, Ben. You come on back and see us again, okay? Everyone that came in tonight, thank you all so much for being here. Please be back tomorrow night. Thank you for the taps. Thank you for the reposts. Thank you for the shares. This is how we're going to grow. This is how we're going to grow. I'm so excited about it. I love every single one of you. Oh, look at the yellow and white. That's pretty. I like the white and blue, the white and yellow. Awesome. We figured out how for the words not to be backwards. I am from Melmac. I love you all. Great job tonight. Great interaction. Yes, welcome to all the newcomers. Glenna, hello. Good night to everyone. Love you all. Let me edit this live goal. It looks horrible if we don't hit a live goal on the live, so I'm going to change it real quick because we don't want to go down in rankings. We're starting to really care about that here. So I just reset it. Let's see if we can hit that here within just a few seconds. And there we go. We are 50% there to the goal. Paul, thank you. Karen, thank you so much. Y'all just come through like gems. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right. I am going to let y'all go and get to your night so you can get to bed earlier. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow night.